Hi everyone, welcome back to another scrapbook process video, and thanks for joining me again today. Here is the sketch that I am going to be following, and I'm going to actually follow this sketch fairly closely. I am using these, or scrapbooking these two photos of my son, and he's just being silly. He was going to stick his tongue out at me for the picture, and then he realized he had icing on his lip and it actually tasted kind of good. So it made me laugh, and yeah, I really like that. I am going to cut them down to 4x4 size, which I wasn't sure if I was going to originally, but I decided there was nothing but a lot of background noise on the rest of the pictures, so these really help just him stick out. And then, so they help the photo stick out even more, I'm going to go ahead and mount them on some white cardstock. And lately I have been adding just a tiny piece of cardstock in between each photo. Sometimes I will mount them next to each other, but recently I've kind of been on a kick where I just have a little bit of space in between. So again, here is my gray wool ink that I'm going to be inking all the edges with, and again, I love how this layout turns out. So this is the last Christmas one I will be doing with this collection for now. Like I mentioned in the last video, I am just trying to get my room put back together and a little bit more organized. It's been chaotic, and I've even brought out more kits lately that I don't even know what I was thinking. So again, I'm doing this voiceover before the crop that I go to, so I'm hoping to get a few things done at the crop and have a little bit more organization time, or even, you know, be able to organize a little bit better when I come home. But I'm using the same Milk and Cookies collection by Doodlebug, and I absolutely love this collection, and I'm going to use a lot of scraps on it. I'm looking now because the sketch had basically one big piece of pattern paper, and originally I was thinking I was going to use that one that you might have seen a minute ago because it has all kinds of baking elements on it, and we were just decorating cookies right here, but it was just a little too busy and I wasn't sure how exactly I felt about it. So then I saw this brown one, and the brown really, there's not a lot of brown in it, and it's all gingerbread men, and we do usually do sugar cookies and gingerbread men on the same day. I used to break it up into 2 days until I realized how much work that was, and that doesn't happen anymore. But I already had that one striped strip with the red stripes that you could see there. I had that one, but it was smaller. It looks like on this sketch that each of these strips is about 1 inch wide, I would guess. So that one was smaller, and originally I was going to use it until I realized I had this other scrap here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to be about 1 inch. And the strips are all a little bit different lengths from each other, so they kind of go from smaller to bigger and kind of lay on top of each other. And like I said, I mostly follow the sketch, except for I think I might add a little bit more to my clusters, but other than that, it really turns out really good. So I had that brown one there, and the sketch also called for like a scalloped edge on the left-hand side of this big pattern paper, and I knew I had all these border stickers still on the sticker sheet, so I went ahead and I cut this one down. I just kind of set the paper up to it. I didn't want it to span the same width as the paper, so I didn't care if it was a little bit too short, if that makes any sense. I really also wanted to use the back side of this paper, which you might have just seen, which was blue with all the candies and stuff, but it was the wrong direction. So there's that scallop border strip, and it is just short, so about 1/2 inch on each edge on the very left-hand side of the background paper. And I'm not measuring a whole lot. I am kind of, you might have seen me this video marking with my fingers where I want things cut. I'm just kind of trying to go with the flow and play around with it. And I found this color. This is kind of like I don't know what kind of design you would call that, but it had a lot of the colors in it, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted for the third strip there. And when I put it up there against the photos to see what it would look like, I really actually liked the way that it kind of helped everything stand out. It brought some more of those colors around. So I am going to ink the edges here, and then I'm going to decide if I like that, and I'm going to look around just a little bit more to see if there's any more colors. I thought this green would be really good, and I hadn't been cutting into it because it's a full 12 by 12 sheet, and I was trying to kind of not cut into it just for this small strip. But then I realized I'm not going to save paper anymore, and so I said, nope, I'm not going to save this paper. I'm going to cut into it. And so I cut this about a 1-inch strip off of it, and I was quite happy. I'm very glad that I used the green. So you can see here that I changed my mind about the brown. I liked the brown, but I think that the green and this multicolor one just looked a little bit better. The brown was just throwing me off a little bit, even though, you know, I had more brown elements and stuff that I could have went around the page, the rest of the page. I liked this multi-pattern one better. So in the beginning, the sketch, it called for a circle here with the title on it. And what I'm thinking is I wanted kind of bigger, more block letters for the title. And I know right now in my mind that I'm going to use some of my dies, my alphabet dies. And so I'm just looking for which colors it is that I want to do the title with. And those are 6x6 pattern papers, and so here's my little mini die cutter thingy, and these are close to my heart, block alphas. I don't know the exact name to these, but these are great alphabet dies to have because they're such a great size. You could use them for so many different things. So my title is going to be Yum, just Y-U-M, and then I did take out the explanation point so that I kind of wanted to add that on there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue all these down, or not, I don't glue them down, I washi tape them. You can see that I just mostly keep my washi tape. A lot of times I will just put it back on the machine like a lot of people do. I really like having this cutter on my desk, so small little projects like this I can just quickly bring it down, and it does stick to the desk, but it won't stick to my mat, if that makes sense. There is like that gray handle on the left hand side that you can see there. It will suction cup to the desk, but it won't to my mat very well. And it is, I think it's a Sizzix Sidekick. I'm not really sure what that machine is. It was on sale at my local craft store for a really good price a couple months ago, maybe for National Scrapbook Day weekend. I can't really remember, but it was like less than 0.5% off. So I mean, it was a great price. So I went ahead and die cut out the words. And like I said, I like having that little one right there so that I can just grab it down really easy. I do have my Cuttlebug still, but it's just a little more bulkier and harder to use. And now I'm going to take some of my foam tape, and I'm just going to add a little bit of foam tape behind each of the letters so that it will pop up off the page just a little bit. One trick when using foam tape, if you have not heard me say this before, I learned that if you take the backing off of the foam tape, you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. So here I took the foam tape strip off. Well, I will in just a second here for the bottom of the U. And I took both sides of the backing of that foam tape are off. And so it's currently sticky now. But once you do that, you can easily curve it like I did on the bottom of the U, just so you know. So the sketch also called for a circle, and here you're going to see I have not used this circle die cutter, or I don't know what you call it, but I went to use it this time. And I love this circle. It only goes to about 6 inches, which is the only bad part, but it must have fallen, and I think I remember it falling. And so I had to take like quite a few minutes. It took me about an hour, and you can see all my duct tape work. It was like somehow started to come apart, and it had all these little metal balls in there, and so I had to try to push each one in individually and then duct tape it all together. But hey, it's working, as you can see now. And I've had that glass mat forever. I don't even know where I got it. I don't even know. I don't even remember buying it. I know I've had that glass mat forever. I mean, you can see how worn it is, but it works really well with that cutter. You do have to sometimes glue, like you might have seen me add a little bit of adhesive to the thing to hold the paper in place with that cutter. That's the only downfall with that cutter, is just because the way it works. Unless you push really hard on the outside, which is kind of hard to do, then your paper could move. But it worked perfectly for this after I got it fixed, and I kind of measured where the letters, how big of a circle I wanted to have with my letters, and so I believe it's about a 4-inch circle, in case you're wondering. And now I'm going to glue my title down, and you can tell that it's popped up there. And I did move this circle down a little bit more from where it is on the sketch. But like I said in a few videos, when it comes to sketches, a lot of times I just take inspiration as to where the photo placement might go and where the paper placement might go. And after that, it seems like I kind of go off on my own. Once I get started, then I kind of just go. And that's how I work. I love sketches. I love using them all the time, but that's kind of how I've always found that it works best for me, is I get the inspiration and then I go with it. Which is also why I don't always know the measurements of the things that the papers that I cut and everything, is a lot of times I'll just kind of eyeball it like I did in the sketch series that I showed you guys. So that is my title, and it just says Yum, and I'm not even going to do any journaling. I mean, it's just cute pictures. There's nothing special to it, so I ended up just not even doing any journaling with this layout. So I'm looking at my die cuts now. You can see I still have a lot of the milk and the cookies, like I mentioned in the last video. So I have to use those up somehow, but I'm not going to worry about it. This collection is done for now for me. And in the last layout I did, I cut a few things from this small 6x6 sheet, and so this is the second one of those sheets, and so I decided to go ahead and look to see if there's anything I wanted to cut out for this layout. Then there was this, I can't remember if it says "you're the icing on the cake" or something like that. It was just really cute, and I liked the word icing was in there because that's what he's licking off his lips. You can see it's all over his dirty face. But it's just these photos are so adorable. Now I need to remember if I added the date. I have to go back and look at this layout. Well, maybe we can see in the very end still shots whether or not I added it. I did kind of struggle just a little bit because I don't have a lot of things left other than I didn't really want to add milk jugs to this. It just didn't seem to really go with anything. So, and the coffee cups, anything like that. And those brown cookies. We make sugar cookies, and I know it doesn't have to be completely themed. It's just I wasn't feeling the cookies, so I didn't put them on there. There are a lot of things like mixing bowls and things like that I could have added, but you can see on the sticker sheet that there's a lot of cupcakes and cakes and stuff too, which again, I could have added. I just wasn't sure because we made sugar cookies and not necessarily, you know, cakes and cupcakes, but I do end up adding some cupcakes just because I thought they looked really cute where I add them. So I added the gingerbread men on the left-hand side, and I did that because they looked really cute there, number one, but we also do decorate gingerbread men or houses every year on the same day that we do the cookies, so I thought that they went there pretty good. And then there was that little peppermint candy because I felt like the gingerbread men needed to be standing on something, and so I went ahead and added that there just for something. And then I gave the little gingerbread man a spoon to hold. I thought that was really cute. But you can see on the right hand side now I have added the cupcakes, even though that's not what we made. I don't care. It goes with the page and kind of goes with the whole icing on his face theme. So I went ahead and just used it because I figured where else am I going to use it? Again, I might try doing a page. There's some pictures I have in mind that are not Christmas related at all. And so I might try doing those with all the like cakes and cupcakes and baking pieces to this collection. Even though this is a Christmas collection, you could use those for anything. So I'm going to take my enamel dots, and I'm pretty much done with the layout except for just adding a few things. I felt like it needed a few things, so I added enamel dots in 3 different clusters to kind of make a little bit of a triangle to go around. And then in the last layout, I also added a border around the page, and also I felt like I needed something else, and I didn't want to mat this page again on a pattern paper or a cardstock piece. So I'm just going to add this light gray border around the whole thing. And like I said before, if you feel like your layout just needs something, try adding a little border because it really helps. And so this is pretty much going to be the layout. I think that I'm done with it at this point, other than I am going to add a couple more pretty pink posh jewels, which I don't think you see me do on the camera. I turned the camera off thinking I was done, but you will see the jewels in the last pictures that are coming up here. So this photo right here, you can see some of the jewels. I just added a light blue, a green, and a red in different sizes to 3 different areas as well. And so that is my layout. I love how it turned out, and I want to say thank you again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great summer, and I'll see you next time. Bye!